Welcome to the next episode of the CAPB podcast. For today's session, we are joined by Chris Taylor, who served for a short period in the Royal Marines and is now a running coach and the go-to for running these huge events across the UK. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me, guys. That's a very kind intro. Both sides of it, actually, the veteran side and the go-to side. But looking forward to chatting about it.
I think we'll just touch on that very quickly. With the veteran thing, I think the way we see it is if you've served for a day or you've served for 35 years, you served. You whatever the reason why you no longer serve or you left, whether that was medical or personal, whatever. I think people who made the decision to serve and then leave, for me, that classes you as a mate. So which is pretty good. When did you join the Royal Marines, Chris?
So I joined in 2014 or 15. It must have been 2015, I think. But I originally tried to go in as an officer and made it all the way to the final board and then just didn't get selected for whatever reason. And I remember I was traveling around Europe that summer. Spent all my final pennies literally just fucking interrailing and having a laugh, convinced I was getting in September because obviously there's only one intake of officers every year in the Marines. And they called me and said, "Oh, look, it was close, but unfortunately, no cigar. Do you want to, go in? We'd like to have you back." Obviously, it's a year's cycle, and I'm fucking out, got nothing, no opportunities or anything to do. So I was like, "No, can I just go in as a regular?" And they were like, well, "Yeah, if you want. There's nothing stopping you." So I just went straight in that September as a regular with no real intention of, I was keen on doing the officer thing, but I wasn't attached to it. And then, just went through as a regular, loved it. Did all right, I guess. And then at the end of it, they sort of said, "Oh, you've got quite a lot of leadership potential. You ever thought about being an officer?" I was like, fucking funny old thing. I was literally stood on the parade ground doing my pass out. And my CEO was like, "You ever thought about it?" I was like, "Lad, look at my record. Like, that's what I went for." And he's like, "Oh, no way. Would you be keen on exploring it?" I said, "Yeah, if the opportunity is there." And they basically, this was June 2016. I passed out. And they were like, "Oh, we'll fast track it if you want for this September." And I got the impression it was quite unusual, and I was quite flattered, I think. So I was like, without really thinking about what that would mean, like starting again from day one, because you do just start from scratch at Lympstone. So yeah, I was like, I feel like I couldn't say no, so I said yes, and I had my kind of 3 months as a Marine, and then fucking started from day one in the batch, 2016 batch. And I think I was just cooked and burnt out. I made it about 6 months in, and just it wasn't just that. I was kind of it was a personal decision with my partner at the time as well. But it was a whirlwind, and I loved it. But it was certainly not the normal route. And I remember I kind of left for my partner at the time. I remember my CEO, Colonel Tanner, sitting me down. He's a fucking huge bloke, like huge, big hands. I probably should have named him actually, but anyway, he sits me there and goes, "Mr. Taylor, I see young men sitting in this chair every single day saying they're going to leave for the girl. Trust me, it won't work out and you'll come crawling back." I went, "Thanks for that. I'm off anyway." And about probably 3 years later, we broke up. And I didn't think of him straight away, but about 3 days later, I was like, fucking go down. Anyway, but here we are.
Mate, and then were you, because you are a serious athlete, like from my point of view, you are a serious athlete. Did you, when you left or before you were in the Royal Marines, were you always into like endurance sport?
Yeah, I mean, not endurance necessarily. Sport, definitely. Football was my main thing when I was younger. Sort of semi-serious, but never going to be properly serious. And then at university, I went into the rowing team, which is, if you know anything about it, it's something you can't like half-ass. You're either in or you're out. And when you at university, rowing is like, at times it's like 10 sessions a week. So you'll do doubles on Saturday, Sunday, doubles twice throughout the week. It's in double days, this is. And single days the rest. You have a rest day Fridays. It's like, seriously, you can't really have a life. But I loved it. And that was my first kind of taste of like, rowing's hard. It was proper endurance. And that was all right, nothing special, but okay. And just that was my first flavour. And then joined the military pretty much straight off the back of uni. I was running a bit, but it's that classic story. Like, running was always like a punishment when you're doing team sport as a kid. It's like shuttles and fucking bleep test, and you hate it. Even in the military, like I was all right at running, but only because you had to be, not because I enjoyed it. I remember doing the bleep test when you first join, and it sucks. I remember thinking, fucking hell, if it's gonna be like this every day, this ain't for me. But yeah, you've been through it. You're running every day, aren't you? Sometimes literally from your bed to the shower, you got to fucking run. So you just get good at it, don't you?
Mate, it is like, and it's such a culture shock. I think when you first join, that the amount of fizz you have to do, you'd kind of think, yeah, you have to be fit, but yeah, like another level, and certainly in the Royal Marines.
Best bit of the job, isn't it? Like imagine now, like
Yeah.
you're going to be paid, albeit fuck all, but you're going to be paid to go and do fizz 3 times a day. Bring it on. I miss
And
that.
not consider anything else.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
Mate,
you have 4 cooked meals made for you. Like, all the admin you have to do now in terms of fueling and stuff. Like it is, it's obviously hard work, but it's made easy for you to get fit, which I guess is what happened to me without really, I wasn't thinking about that. Obviously I was just trying to survive every day, but yeah, you just get fit.
And then when did you, when on leaving, when did you start doing, what was your first endurance?
First endurance, I'd never done a running race before. I remember coming out in like February, March time to the start of the running season. I would like run previously. I don't want to downplay it, but I never considered myself a runner or done a race. I remember thinking, maybe I'll just do a half marathon and see if I enjoy it. I'm probably quite fit. Like just, off no training, just off the back of, military fitness. So I was fit and did it. And I wasn't immediately hooked because I loved it, but I wasn't like, this is the best thing ever. It certainly didn't intend to be where I am now. And then, it kind of, I think it was a consequence of probably feeling quite, I don't know, like looking for sources of self-esteem, like leaving the military, even though my time was short, like it is, as you know, like a huge like shock, and a lot of my self-worth came from being a Marine, like you say it, and people do fucking react, whether even the ones who don't particularly like it. It has an impact, and certainly like having gone through the process of being, as I said, quite flattered to be asked to be an officer, like it felt like there was energy around what I was doing at the time, and I probably, my ego was running wild with it anyway. And then I left, and that was gone, and all of a sudden I didn't really have many ways to kind of get self-worth. And rightly or wrongly, I did that half marathon. I then tried to do a marathon but dropped out, like 30 odd K. And then in August, this is 2017, so you can see how short my time was. August 2017, I was just had a week's window where I had off work, and I just ran from the most eastern point in the UK to the most western. So it was Ipswich roughly to St David's in Wales in 7 days, and it was like 80K a day roughly. So 2 marathons, like no support really. My ex was kind of with me on and off, but it was like I wasn't carrying on my kit. I did what they call credit card touring, so you like stay in Airbnbs and shit, and just bought stuff from shops on the way. But it was proper like, kamikaze shit. And it was wicked. I was fucked at the end, like completely broken. Went to A&E, convinced I had a stress fracture, and made every mistake in the book. Now I know, obviously I didn't at the time. But it was just a laugh. I remember I had like the pack I was wearing was like this little pink Camelback thing that was my ex-girlfriend's. That wouldn't even fit me. And I was navving with my phone. The thing I remember most is the nav was just Google Maps, and they had like a zip pocket at the top. And so I was constantly fucking doing this, and I'd remember like the next 5 turns, put it away, and then obviously you're so tired, you'd take the first 2 and you'd be like, fuck, I can't remember, you get out. So it was like all day long I was doing this. But so that was the first like proper thing, first marathon, first everything really, was just DIY run across the country.
How did the switch from where was that? Like the marathon dipped out at 30K and then went, do you know what? I'm going to run with, like, what possessed you to do it? Kind of thing.
It's arrogant, isn't it, really, to when you think like that. I should say the marathon I was trying to run sub 3. So when I got to the point 20 miles in where I was like just about fell off pace, You know, I
Fair
know
one.
I'd run a 3 something, but whether you disagree or not, to me, that wasn't worth it. So I was like, I'm out. So it wasn't like I didn't think I could do the distance. And obviously, you know, the final commando test is 30 miles across Dartmoor. So, you know, technically I'd covered the distance before. But yeah, I just wanted hard. I never really didn't think I could do it, the run across the UK. I've always kind of, believed in myself. And it was never like big or scary, really. It was a holiday. It was the 7 days. It was like, I've got 7 days. What shall I do? I mean, I did something similar when I probably actually, this is, completely missed this. Between uni and starting the Marines, I had like another like 2-week period where I was basically my student accommodation finished on this day, and I was going to India for to work on refugee camps. Anyway, I wasn't homeless. Obviously, I could have stayed with my parents or friends or whatever, but it was like a window I had to fill, and I looked at a map of Europe, and I was like, what's the easiest country I could circumnavigate? So I cycled around the perimeter of Belgium, and again, I know it sounds like quite a lot when you say it. It was only like 120k-ish cycling a day, but it was just, I just had that mentality of like, if I had gaps, you know, exercise is just a laugh and fun. It wasn't like, I wasn't pushing myself. I wasn't worried if I couldn't hit the distance because I've just changed the plan. Yeah, it was just for the crack, basically.
Chris, with that first attempt or that first event where you ran from Ipswich to St David's, did the logistics bit bother you? Or were you literally like, fuck it, I've got a credit card. If I'm tired, we'll stop just here. Or was the logistics like a thing that came into it, or was it something you considered like retrospectively?
Yeah, no, not at all. I didn't even, you know, as soon as I knew that, I gave a quick brief look at the roads to make sure they were roads, and that some of them weren't. And just, I don't know. It was just like it's not, you know, even now, I wouldn't, you know, even what I do, and it's all logistics, but I still wouldn't. I get people asking me stuff all the time. Like, having a good plan is a good thing, but in an environment which, like, it didn't scare me, right? If it was different and I was going to run from the fucking width of Iraq, a different thing. Like, you want a better plan in place. But, you know, it's the UK. The very worst that can happen is I'm somewhere with no signal and I've got to get myself to somewhere with signal. Like, you can always call for help. That's literally the worst thing that can happen. So yeah, no, I kind of, again, obviously there's a duty of care now when people ask me, because I'm seen as someone with authority or wisdom, I suppose. So I would never say just fucking crack it. But quite often I do tell people when they first start out, don't plan the adventure out of it, because I learned loads that week, more than any other thing I've done. And yeah, the kind of the more you go up the ranks of of planning the shit out of stuff, each time you're learning less. You do it, which is a good thing because you're getting better and better at it. But yeah, there's so much to be learned by just fucking giving it a go. Russ Cook did the same. I mean, he did, this first one was like Turkey to London. Like, he's had no plan. He was like slinging hammocks between trees and fucking.
I read his book, and because that was the same thing. Everyone just thinks, oh, it was, he ran, which is incredible, but he didn't really have a plan for that. He didn't have the funding. I think that his story is fascinating. Chris, when did you think? Because you're into running, you started doing some big things. When did you move from running for fun to running as a profession, as in the coaching space? When did you think I can make a living from this?
Yeah, pretty quickly after. To be honest, like to caveat, I did to explain. I did a degree in sports science when I was at uni. So sport and coaching had always been like on my radar. It's something I suspected at some point I'd want to do. It's just the running bit which hadn't fallen into place yet, because that wasn't a love of mine at the time. And then that week, as much as I kind of downplay it as a bit of fun, it did kind of change me as a person, and more just, I loved it more than anything else. It wasn't any deeper than that. It was just like, this is actually fucking sick. Let's do more of this. And got really into it. I can't really remember how. I think that was it. No, I started working for a company called Ultra X, who organise kind of like multi-day adventures, mostly all around the world. They were a startup. I was employee number one. So started with them not long after I did that run. It was a mad time. It was just 3 of us organising events in like Jordan and Sri Lanka and Mexico and the Azores. We had some great adventures, and that's probably where I learned the logistics side of it. And yeah, the coaching I kind of did as a side gig throughout this whole period where, it wasn't never my main profession, but I'd always be helping a few people out. And yeah, it's no, I wish I had a plan or a blueprint I could share with people. People always ask me, especially ex-military people, because it's kind of people see it as, I think, it's a dream job. First off, it ain't. Like it's not as fun as it looks, but I do love it. And secondly, there isn't. I always say I just got lucky, you know. It's just snowballed. I didn't put myself out there in any particular way. I didn't market in a genius way. I just got lucky. I think the timing was right with this boom in celeb or Instagram challenges. I've just right place, right time, I think.
And mate, so what I was going to say, you've gone from, so you're coaching on the side, you're coaching running, you're still competing because you ran Dragon's Back.
Yeah, that was can't have been 2020. That was COVID. Must have been 2021. Yeah.
And that's a huge event. So you ran that for you.
Yeah, so I try and do a couple things, well, at least one big thing a year. The last 3 years, I haven't, because work has been so mad. So I'm going back to the Winter Spine, actually, in January, in 6 months. I'm finally back on track of doing something for me. But yeah, I started on a routine of, like, I did Ultra X Jordan. That was a 5-day thing when I was working with them. And then I think, I can't remember what the following year was. Maybe it was Dragon's Back was the following year. And then Tour de Giants, which is a big one in the Alps. Really, really big one the following year. I always try and do some sort of big, like, week-long style adventure just to remind myself. But yeah, I've fallen out of habit with that real badly, just because work is, it's more not the time, it's just the times of year rather than the time it takes. I'm out of action, like May to September.
You find
Say again.
How did you find
Dragon's Back, best week of my life. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. It was amazing. I was in a pretty bad headspace at the time. It's a whole other conversation to start, but my mental health had kind of dipped, and I was kind of, I remember saying at the end of the race on camera in Cardiff Castle, like, I was doing this because if I can do something as hard as Dragon's Back, maybe I can do life. I was that unconfident with where I was at that stage. It was a huge, it's just such an amazing event. If you've never done it, just do it. It's back to life now, thank God. Just get stuck in. It's amazing. That is one. That's probably the only event I've ever entered. I remember texting my coach at the time, being like, "Do you think I can do this?" It was that. I know that sounds silly because a lot of people probably think that, but my arrogance or belief or whatever was so, I would never have considered that with anything else. But I genuinely was like, I'm not even sure if this is on my radar. And then I did it and did pretty well. But it was good. I feel like maybe I've lost some of that. Like, I had a lot of respect for Dragon's Back and I did it right, and maybe I got cocky, but yeah, it was.
I would love that. It's on the bucket list for me to do the Dragon's Back, but my worry is it's just fucking really hard.
If you get through day 1 and 2, okay, you just got to not view it as a 5-day race. Really, it's like, you think of 1 and 2, take them easy as you can whilst within the cutoff, and then if you can get to the start of day 3, like, feeling not too fucked, I reckon you'd be all right. The thing is, the first 2 days are the hardest, and the first 2 days, obviously, when you feel theoretically the best.
Yeah.
So people go out nuts on day 1 and 2, and then the reality is, if you can get through them, you're fine. But then people repeatedly, they're getting that cycle where they do that 1 year, drop out after day 2, and then go back, and in their head they're like, oh, it's just such a hard thing, and you're like, you were nearly there. You just didn't take it easy enough in the first 2. You would have been all right, but.
I've watched, like, all of the YouTube videos on Dragon's Back, and I think the one thing that did put me off first was the cost. Very expensive to do, but what you get for that looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a conversation I do have a lot, and I don't want to speak badly of other brands. And as an event organizer, I know that there are hidden costs that you wouldn't just ever appreciate as a consumer. But yeah, it is one of the only multi-day events I've done, paid more than £1,000 for, and left feeling like, I had value there. Like, again, I don't want to name companies, but there's plenty out there. I'm sure you can fill in the gaps that you look at and you think, what am I getting out of this? Whereas Dragon's Back was like, the food is fucking amazing, and yeah, moving that, like, it's a traveling circus. You see one of those campsites and look around, and you think, fucking hell, they're putting the next one up already in the next place, 50, 80 kilometers down the road. Like, it's impressive, and it's hard work.
It looks mint. So from coaching and competing and running, when did you get asked to support someone else with an event? What was the one where you thought, all right, I'll go?
Yeah, so it was, I left Ultrex in late 2021. Is that right? Yeah, 2021. And then early 2022, a girl called Imo Body, who I know you know, she reached out and was like, look, I'm gonna run John O'Groats to Land's End and break the youngest female record. And was basically like, can you help me? And I looked at it, and it's like a 3-week thing, and I sort of said, oh yeah, I can, but like I can't do it for free. And she was like, well, no, obviously not. Like, I'll pay you. And I remember having like a light bulb moment of like, fucking hell, this could be a thing here. And this is where the snowball thing really started. I did that. She broke the record, and then like 2 months later, someone else reached out, and we did like she did the 3 peaks, but cycled between them and swam the 3 longest lakes. So the main feature of that, she swam. How the hell have I forgotten the name of this lock? I spent so long on it. the main lock from Arica down to Glasgow. That was going to kill me that I've forgotten that. Whatever, I've done so many events around that as well. Anyway, that's like a 40k swim. So yeah, that was like 2 months after Imo's. I can't even remember the timeline. I'm sure you've got a list because it sounds like you had one you've probably pinched from my website, but there's a timeline on there, and you can see how it's like each one was like 2 or 3 months after. And since then I've done sort of 3 or 4. Some of them huge, some of them, some are only like 3 or 4, like at least a week long projects. Some of them kind of 3 weeks or more, and then a couple like weekend type ones every year since then. I think the big one probably was the one where we met, so it was after start of 2023. A guy called Josh ran a marathon every UK city, and that just garnered quite a lot of attention in the UK because he's got a big following, and it was just quite a big scale project. And I think that was probably what really got my name out there a bit more.
So for the 76 marathons days, I remember seeing it on social media. Now, I didn't know like I didn't know who Josh was, but my wife did. And I sort of 76 marathons, 76 cities, and I lived in North Wales at the time. So one of the cities was St Asaph, which is a really small, insignificant place in North Wales, but it's a city. And I thought, how's it going to run a marathon in St Asaph? So I just sort of thought, I'll turn up. There'll be loads of people there. It's a big he'll have a big entourage because he's a big deal guy. And I turned up, and it was just you, Josh, and I think your now wife Hannah was there, and no one else. Oh, and one young lad on a e-bike with a camera.
Yeah, Reese was filming, or Ted maybe. I think Ted actually.
It was Ted. It was, and I was like, where is what's everyone else? Because it looks like all the media that was getting pushed out. So it looked so professional. It looked like you had a full team, and every day there was a video getting pushed out. And you were like, that's just us. This is it. And tomorrow we're in Bangor, and then we're going to Wrexham. And it blew my mind that for me as a consumer, if you want, social media looked like it was a huge event. And it was just essentially 3 blokes. I know at that time you were drawing with it, but 3 blokes in a camper van running. I thought it blew my mind, mate.
Right. Yeah, it still blows my mind. Like I've recently had like an equivalent of that. I can't really say much, but a project I worked on last year has just been commissioned for a big documentary on a big streaming platform. And I was watching the sizzle, which is like the trailer, last night, and I was laughing the whole way through. Like, if you watch something like that, and again, it's more so than what you had with Josh's, you'd assume that there's like a 20-man film crew behind this thing. It was literally, the team was well, I'll give away too much if I say who the team was, but anyway, like, 2 guys, one on a bike, just filming with a handheld camera, and it's going to be a big documentary on a big streaming platform. And again, you would sit at home on your sofa, watch that, and think, wow, like the team behind that must have been huge. And it's essentially just me and my mates, and it is like, it's mad. I guess it's part of it is just guess like tech, you can do so much with little equipment now, but yeah, like I always do try and operate the events. It's the same as training, minimal effective dose. You do as little as you can to achieve the outcome you want, and keep it clean and simple. That's the same for running training as it is for logistics and events. The flip side of that is, the week again, there's so many things I could get in trouble with. Last week I was doing a big thing. I can't hide away from what that was because it's pretty obvious if I say last week, but a big challenge with Ollie Mers, and not knocking it. I didn't operate it. I was there coaching him and helping him out. But you have a team of like 50 people behind this big celebrity circus thing. And I often look at those and go, fucking hell, you could cut 50% at least of the faff here and probably operate better, not as good, just actually easier. And that's, it's not for me to say, it's whatever, however people do their stuff. But yeah, my approach is always minimal effective dose. Make sure you're safe. Make sure everyone else has got the support they need, and yeah, have fun with it, I guess.
A bit of a loaded question. What do you enjoy more? The individual event, like, in fact, the coaching element, watching the person succeed, or the running of whatever that event may be?
No one's ever asked me that. I'll probably say, because it gives. Your question was pure, I guess. What do you enjoy most? Was it so pure enjoyment?
Yeah.
It's got to be the last one, to operating the events and being with it. Partly because it covers everything, right? If I say me doing stuff for myself, that's very like internal, and obviously I love that. But it's all about me. There's no fulfillment outside of that. Coaching, I get a huge amount of fulfillment. It's amazing helping people like achieve big goals, like Dragon's Back, for example. Coaching someone for something they never thought they could do, and then 6 months later they've done it, and you both look back at the message you sent in March saying, "Can I do it?" And you're like, "Fucking hell, believe in yourself." That's amazing. But then the third bit is, not always, but quite often when I'm doing an event, I'll have coached that person sometimes for 2 years through this journey, planned, all of it, recruited a team that I now get along with really well. So I'm effectively with my mates when I do it, and then you do it. So you have all of that other side of it. Quite often I'm also, running quite a lot of it. So I get that box is ticked. So it's a combination of everything, and it's, when it goes well, it's the best feeling I've ever had outside of taking drugs. It's that sort of level of high. There's the only reason I mentioned that, not to be facetious, but it's that combination of all three factors is, it's not quite like anything else, and you get a crash similar to you do as it come down from drugs as well. But yeah, the last one.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that crap?
Yeah, I still haven't found a sensible way of doing it. I've worked with therapists, same therapist I've worked with for years, and it's something that comes up a lot in my relationship with my wife. It's hard for her. I go away, so she's picking up the slack at home and solo parenting, which is equally as hard. Then I come back fucked and emotional and down, and I should be kind of picking up, saying thanks to her, I'm back now, chill out, and it's never quite like that. And I've never found a good routine. Therapist suggested having a buffer, so like taking 2 days where you see, if your project is 14 days, view it as 16, and then when it finishes day 14, you have 15 and 16 to decompress. And I've never tried it because it's just what a dream world that is, to just take 2 more days. Like, it's theoretical, but I find it really hard.
It's the first time I've ever noticed, as in, like, you mentioned traffic. I've been thinking about the stuff that I've done, and I'm like, you get a month of training. You do the event you ultimately hate doing, and then you finish and you have that high, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah.
And it's that crash depression. And what we generally do then is we look on the internet and go, I've had enough of this all for now, or I'll do this now, and start again. Really interesting you said that.
A lot of it for me is the, like, when you say, for example, you're training for whatever it is for you. You've used Dragon Back so many times, I get a lot of promotion out of this, but let's just stick with that. Like, your identity is tied up in that for so much. Like, every day you're doing something. If I'm coaching someone, I try and make them think every single day when you wake up, make sure whatever you're doing something that's helping you towards that goal. That's a great thing to do, but it's really overwhelming. And when you do that for 6 months on end, and then day 250 in your training plan, which is the day after the race finishes, where's the direction? And for me, like a lot of my mental health struggles always came from feeling like I had a lack of purpose. And I had that. The military thing was the same. What the military, and they get a lot of things wrong, but what they get very right is I woke up every single day in that training phase, believing that what I was doing was going to make a difference. Like I had so much purpose. I felt like driven, and I never doubted whether what I was doing was worthwhile. It was hard, and I've wondered whether it was for me, but it was like, was it worthwhile? No doubt ever. And then you leave, and you think, fucking hell. Like that was what I found the most troubling. Is I wanted to make sure whatever I did had purpose. And so when I do these events, like the rest of the world is not even like, I think one time, is it Trump was the assassination attempt or some major bit of news happened? And like I didn't, something that everyone, who has a phone or a telly in the world would have heard about it. And like, we just didn't find out for like 3 days because we were like, there's nothing else happening. You're in this bubble. And then like you're so much purpose, everything you do, every minute of your day is about completing this one objective. And then suddenly it's done. That's what, and then you're like, luckily, well, it's the same. I'm not saying luckily, it's probably not a good thing to immediately switch onto the next thing or you look for the next thing. I was about to say, luckily, I'll normally have another event, but it's the sudden loss of immediate and obvious purpose to me that I find jarring.
Mate, that's the same with a lot of people who leave the army, or any of the forces. And again, it links to whether you've served for 2 years or 25 years. It's that trying to find out what is that purpose? What is that thing that you're going to do that is worthwhile? I think it's a really good point. I mean, some of your events, 2 weeks, a week, some of them are like nearly 3 months. That must be hard. So you must be so locked in. Like Josh is 76 days. And I know the one you're doing, Esme, I think that's in 76 days. That must be like, you've got to just detach yourself from everything else. And that is your purpose. That's that, mate.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, the thing that I guess the way it affects like the rest of my life is that like I still don't know if it's a strength or a weakness, but I have this tendency or ability to really hyper focus. I guess that's kind of what makes attention to detail and logistics and stuff. That's not a difficult task. I always think that as well. Like my job's easy, really. You just got to be organized. But anyway, the hyper focus thing, it's great. But if you're hyper focusing on one thing, you're hyper ignoring a lot of other stuff, and that comes with consequences. And that's another balance that I'm still trying to figure out. It's never easy. For whatever reason, I have this aptitude to be able to do whatever it takes at all costs to help people get to whatever their finish line is. And sometimes that comes at greater personal costs than just the time. Obviously I get remunerated, I'm paid money. Fine, that's good. It's a decent job, pays all right. But there's so many other personal costs that a lot of other jobs don't have. And again, it's similar to the forces, and even in that, you don't even get paid well. You know what I mean? Like it's, there's so much other stuff that people probably don't realise.
I've got a question. So you do a lot of coaching. How do you give one bit of advice to someone that doesn't want to go on that session, that doesn't want to go on that run? How do you do it? You look on social media and you just fucking get out and do it. It's like, there obviously has to be a connection there between coach and coachee. But
athlete.
I don't know if that's the word. Do you have like a go-to thing that you get them to get out of the door? Because I struggle with it.
Yeah, it's a good question. There's never a go-to, unfortunately. This is going to be a cop-out of an answer because it is, unfortunately, everyone is different. Like what drives you out the door will be different to what drives Matt out the door. And so that's the coach's job, is to work that out. Well, someone once said to me, a good coach is a coach that is a person that asks the right questions. And you got to, the first, when you're first getting to know an athlete, and this can take months, often years, to get it really right. But building that relationship is about asking the right questions and finding out what makes them tick. But for a good, across the board thing, I think applies to anyone, is that it all comes down to the why and the purpose, right? Someone said to me recently, what if, what sort of personalities can accomplish these big things? And I mean, I say anyone can, as long as you're driven enough. And that sounds like I'm making it too simple, but It's this thing, if you want to like succeed as bad as I think the analogy I used was, if there's a lion chasing you, you'll fucking get out the door, won't you, Paul? You're out that door as quick as anything. Your why is not going to be that strong every single morning. So firstly, it's accepting and acknowledging that that's not a problem. But at some, if there's a pattern developing where it's happening certainly more than twice a week for a runner running, 4 or 5 times, then, you might have to start asking, is your why strong enough? Do you really, analyze, if you're forcing yourself out all the time, maybe there's a bigger issue than just cracking on and something to be solved. But yeah, it's a tough one, as I say, unfortunately, because everyone is very different. But yeah, making sure you're attached to your why and finding a different way to, sometimes it's not like what you've got programmed that day might not be every single day, right? You're faced with so many choices. And by and large, you want to make the choices that will steer you towards your goal. Sometimes not getting out the door is going to help you, get to your goal quicker, genuinely. So I don't want to, you're going to give anyone excuses, but it's making sure that more times than not, you're choosing the choice that's going to get you there, and not beating yourself up if every now and again it seems like you're not choosing the right choice, because you still might be.
Mate, I love that. Mate, with the events, right? So people approach you and say, I've got an idea. I want to do this. Have you ever thought, I know it's decent money and stuff, but I'm not interested in that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time, yeah. Which is a real privilege to be in that position. I'd have taken anything a couple of years ago to say yes to whatever came my way. But I'm in a position now where I can pick and choose a little bit, and ultimately I don't have the time to do them all. I'm still very much a yes guy. I should say no more often, but yeah, quite often it's either, I don't know, too much time away is an easy no, or it's something that I don't know. I've done John O'Groats to Land's End, for example. I fucking battered that to death. I can't see me doing another one of them anytime soon. So yeah, but it's about the person. Esme, for example, was a huge project this year. She emceed my wedding a few months ago. She's a close personal friend. I can't wait to do something like this with someone else. I've done it before, but someone who is a friend first and someone who I'm working with second. So yeah, it's if someone else had come to me with Esme's project, I probably would have said yes. But yeah, so there's different combinations. But yeah, I'm it's not every week, but I'd say 3 or 4 times a month, someone will come to me with an idea, and I can only take 4 a year, so that gives you an idea of how much I'm saying, sorry, mate, good luck. But I'll do a call with you. I jump on a call and help steer people in the right direction if I can. But yeah, there's only one of me, and it's not a business I've figured out how to scale yet. So,
do you ever think this would be a cool challenge? And I like the other way. So as opposed to people coming to you saying, "Can you help me do this thing?" Do you ever think that'd be a fucking cool challenge? I would love to support that, and I could ask one of these people to do it.
Yeah. I don't want to give away my ideas though, so you're not going to get that out of me. But yeah, there's a few things. But to be honest, what motivates me and drives me is, I want to do it. It's not something necessarily that I haven't got like a logistical thing where I'm like, I just want to plan it and I want someone else to do it. Now, if I've got ideas, it's because I actually want to do it. So I wouldn't want to find someone else to crack it. What I want is a 2-month period where I can give it a go. But hey, would be nice, wouldn't it?
Mate, I love that. Right, we're coming towards the close of the podcast. And I was going to say, I guess, what's next? But what next is the Esme thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that starts next month, and that'll be from June till October she finishes, so it's a big one.
And that's 5K in every city. And what I quite liked about it, her plan is to get, is it 1 million people in total running?
Yeah, not necessarily running with her. That would be like 13,000 in each city. So that ain't happening. But like, there's a Strava club, so it's basically over the course of that 99 days, can we get 1 million people? It's 1 in 60 in this country getting out and moving. Whether that's a 5K or whether that's 500 meters. Just it's a real this is a quite often I work on things which, let's be honest, it's not charity first. It's I want to do this, and I'll probably even doing it for personal promotion first. And that's also not a problem, by the way. It's how it's business for a lot of people. And then charity is second. This is first and foremost. Esme's story is amazing. She was paralyzed when she was younger, learned to walk again. She's an incredible person, and it's all about, can we get people moving and change lives? And she's one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. And if anyone can get people up off the sofa and changing their lives around, it is her. So I just hope she gets the attention that she deserves, because it will be, it's going to be a mega thing. So yes, but I haven't done all the routes yet. It's what I was doing this morning, actually, before you lot disturbed me. So back to that. But I think it'll be about 99 days on the road with roughly 50-ish kilometers average per day. So it's about a 5,000k route, I think, when I finished it. But it's a big one. But it's got a lot of meaning at its core, which is great.
I think that's it. Like, links back to that purpose, isn't it? It's not a can I raise X, it's can I get this many people moving, which is inspiring, man.
Yeah. The good thing is fundraising is amazing, but you don't often get to witness the change. So you say, oh, Ray, last week Ollie helped him raise £1 million. Fucking awesome. But you don't get like a first-hand experience of what that does. Whereas if you, with these things, with Josh is the same. Some days we're like St. Asaph, it's me, him, and no one else. But the weekend runs, we would have 20, 30 people there, and you get to chat and hear, how they've been inspired by what you're doing. And you think, what, like, really? That's fucking incredible. So I imagine there'll be a load of that with Esme's, and so she and the rest of the crew will get to see firsthand that, what we're doing isn't completely pointless or vainglorious. It's making a difference, which is a bit more hands-on than simply fundraising. So that should be nice.
And I think social media helps us so much. For all the negatives of social media, and there are plenty, for these events, it just shows people, it gives people exposure to stuff they wouldn't have seen. It opens the door into potentially taking part that they wouldn't have seen if they're not on that circle. So I think I'm going to do what I can to run one of them. I live in Gloucestershire now, so you'll be doing Gloucester, Bristol, Cardiff, all around here. So
yeah, perfect. Well, I look forward to it.
Get the crips on.
Come and join us.
And Paul, you can go to St. Asaph, mate.
Bangor. Whatever's pretty.
Yeah, Bangor, St. Asaph, Wrexham. Loads of options.
Mega. Listen, Chris, it has been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and good luck with the event with Esme and for all future events, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, mate.